and we're going to be live on our social media soon. So if you are listening on the radio and you can, don't recommend doing this when you're driving, but you can log into one of our social media platforms and see our pretty faces here. We have a very special guest here. So it's not just Colorado. There's people listening from outside of Colorado too, because we have a great guest. I'm here with Sarah Duke, our Vice President of Media, who's going to introduce exactly who we're with.
I know. I'm actually very excited. Well, thank you again for everyone tuning in, listening to K4CO Radio. And as Josh mentioned, we are on 4 different streaming platforms, which is very exciting. Hi. We're on Facebook Live, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, which is amazing. And I highly recommend this, that you go on live. You can put in comments and questions on Facebook.
Yep.
And I highly recommend it because this guest, I am really, really excited for this woman. I literally met Angela like last week and she was beaming beside me and I grabbed her and I was like, you're a person who I need to talk to.
That's assault, Sarah.
It kind of was. I did. It was like full stop. I'm like, you look like a person that I need to talk to, because it was just that moment when you just know. So we have Angela Fuller in our studio. Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
I felt the same about you too.
I know you were beelining it for Mayor Pico. No, we love Mayor Pico, but I'm like, we need a hard stop right now because I need to know your story. And you are just a powerhouse of a woman. I've read your bio, and resilience is the understatement of your story.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we can, we're going to launch into all the cool things. So for the people that are watching and listening, I'm going to give you a full, like, high level real quick.
Okay.
And then we're going to delve into how you actually did this, because it's a fascinating journey. I mean, you were on American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. You dabbled just a tad bit in the Olympics. I love your laugh. Like, she's breaking world records, and I mean, it's absolutely insane. And you're putting the men to shame. And
yes.
I'm going to say that.
Yeah,
I
do love that.
It was so cool. And you're still I'm not going to say that. You are putting men to shame. We'll leave it at that. Leave the politics aside. But I mean, so yeah, American Ninja Warrior, Olympics, you're a fitness instructor, and you have had a lot of things in your life that have been pivotal and saying, oh my gosh, can I get through this?
Yeah.
So resilience is pretty amazing. So with all that being said, if you guys need some hope and, oh my gosh, I'm having a rough day, this woman will inspire the living heck out of you.
And she's from right here in Highlands Ranch.
And she's a native to Colorado.
Exactly.
I mean, there's so many great things.
So, I grew up in Littleton. So
right here.
And I went to college at Colorado State University. So I'm never leaving Colorado.
I love it. Well, we're talking with 2 natives.
Oh, you guys are too.
We are natives as well.
There are not a lot of us.
No. I agree.
This is exciting. This is a moment.
Yes. It is a moment. I literally.
And we're all in blue. Is that like how we're showing off our Colorado pride? Maybe.
I love it.
We all got the memo.
We did. Exactly. I mean, Colorado native. So you were born in Littleton.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will take you back a little bit. So I was born in Littleton, born and raised. I was a gymnast as a little girl. I was flipping off the bars when I was like 5 and 6 years old. My teacher was like, you need to put her in gymnastics. And so I went to gymnastics. And then I did that until I was 14. And then I had an injury and I injured my leg and I could no longer do it because you had to do all 4 events back in the day.
This is when you were 14, you had 14. The injury? Okay.
Yeah. So I was done. Yeah. And then I went off into cheerleading. So I started cheering in high school at Arapahoe High School down the street.
Okay.
I know so many.
My niece goes there right now.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Warriors.
She's is it Palms? What's like the real active one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Palms.
So she's been in dance forever.
Yeah,
so
that's amazing.
Really yeah.
I know. So it's kind of ironic. I was a warrior back then and I'm a ninja warrior. I know, cheesy. But anyways, I went off to Colorado State University and I cheered in college as well. So I was a Ram. And then right out of college, my life kind of took a sharp turn. I was in a really bad car accident. Okay. And I broke my back. So I had a severe back injury.
I want to go into detail. These are pivotal, like life-changing moments. So, I mean, can we go back to 14?
Yeah.
Because you're an athlete. That is another understatement. Yeah. How did you hurt your leg?
Yeah. So on the beam. So I had hit it and I broke the bone right here on my shin.
Okay.
And then my coach said, you need to do it again or you're going to be scared. And I hit the exact same place.
Oh my gosh.
There was like blood on that beam for years. Anyways, but yeah, so I was just done. I was not, if I'm totally frank with you, in the 90s, it was not the best environment either. It was kind of abusive in the gymnastics world. And I just was done. I couldn't do it anymore. I was too scared to do the beam. And they're like, well, you can't come back then. So I was pretty burnt out and ready to make a change anyways, but coaches are everything and it just wasn't a positive experience. So I love the sport. So it was not a choice to leave, which was really hard for me too. So that kind of leads to where I am today. But yeah, so then that happened. And then I kind of went to cheerleading. I only did cheerleading because I wanted to stunt and tumble. I love to flip and fly. Like and that is in my soul.
You could still do that even with the leg injury.
Yeah. So leg injury healed. Okay. Because that was fine. That wasn't anything. But the car accident. Yeah. It was
You're glossing over this. This is what I'm talking about. This is incredible woman. She's like, it was fine. Yeah. It's fine. I just,
on it.
That literally is my mantra. I'm always like, I'm fine.
I just slammed it in again to the same bar on the same location, but it's totally great. I was still tumbling because it was fine.
It's like, you're so tough. Like you fall and you're like, I'm getting back up.
Yeah.
So the car accident is what really was hard because I couldn't just get back up. I was done because I had compression fractures and nerve impingement, herniated discs, and I just was done. So right out of college, I just, I was no longer an athlete. So I had to shift. So I went into my career. I gained 50 pounds and I did not know who I was anymore. It was really hard, but I met my husband.
Yeah, found is correct. I like it.
I found him at a bar. No, I did.
While you were flipping it off.
Totally.
Flipping around. Yeah.
So I met him and then we had our boys. First pregnancy went fine. Second pregnancy, not great. So at 20 weeks carrying him, I herniated 2 more discs. So then I was put on disability. And then he actually came early. He was a preemie, which was really, really hard in the NICU and had a lot of stuff. So right after I gave birth to him, we did an MRI and they're like, you are done. Like if you do anything more, you're blowing your discs and we need to fuse your spine. So that was devastating. Plus I had really bad postpartum depression and I really didn't share that with anybody. So I was battling a lot. Yeah. So pivotal moment, my friend invited me to a Zumba class and I could not hardly move. I literally swayed side to side, but the music, I just like got my sparkle back. So started doing that, but my back was still messed up. I want to be tracking. So you have your 2 kiddos. So Zumba class, how old are you at this first Zumba class? My little one was about 1.5 years when I went to my first Zumba class.
So this is
maybe a year.
Like 20-ish. They're in their 20s. How old were you at this point?
I was okay. So when I found out that I was done, I was 31.
Okay. All right. So this is roughly 10-ish years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you for taking off a few years. I'm almost 45. I'm very proud of my age, by the way. I'm almost 45. So that happened. And then I started that, but I wasn't hardly moving. But then my best friend was diagnosed with terminal breast cancer. We didn't know it was terminal at the time. It was stage 3, but it devastated me. But I think sometimes you need that wake up call. And it like just hit me of like, what am I doing? Like, it was 14 years now that I have not been an athlete at this point. And I was like, I want to flip and fly. I miss this. So I hired a nutritionist. I did PT. I did not want to do surgery. So if you don't know a lot about your back, once you fuse some of your vertebrae or your discs, then it starts breaking down all around. You will eventually have a cage in your back. So they do not want to really start that when you're too young because it's not great. Okay. But I healed it naturally.
Of course you did.
Which people are like, I don't believe you. I'm like, I swear to goodness. I also was baptized during this. And I gave my life to Christ and I was like, I want a new life. Like I was reborn. So it was really pretty incredible. So totally turned it around. And then I decided I'm going to teach Zumba. So I started teaching group fitness at the Highland Ranch Rec Centers. There's a plug. I teach there now 3 days a week, but I love it because I get to help moms bring their sparkle back. So then, of course, everything snowballs.
What about dads? Dads can't have a sparkle back?
What dads can get their sparkle back too. Maybe like a little. Because it is true. I feel like my biggest message too is we live in the shadows of our kids a lot. Like a lot of moms in particular, and I'll say some dads, you have your kids and you're like, all right, now I live through their dreams.
Right.
And that's okay. It wasn't okay for me. I was missing something.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I then had these huge dreams. So American Ninja Warrior. So
why did that come on? Was that just something you're like, did someone introduce you to this idea?
Yeah.
What made that pop into your head?
So this is actually a fun story. Like, I'm going to get some water for this one. And I was like, oh, wait, a mom could do this. So, but I still was like, I don't know. So my friend called me one day. She goes, you watched American Ninja Warrior last night? I was like, yeah. She goes, I had a dream you were on it. And I said, are you joking? I'm like, there's no way. Like, I just took my life back. I'm just getting back into Zumba. Like, I cannot be on American Ninja Warrior. Like, that's crazy. I laughed at her on the phone. But then it like planted the idea.
Yeah.
So then, this is funny. It's such a God thing. My son comes home with a coupon to Ninja Nation and says, Mom, there's this new ninja gym. I want to try it out.
Nice.
And I was like, okay. So I bring him in and I'm on the sideline like every mom. And the coach was like, you look like you want to try this. Do you want to come out and play too? I'm like, moms can play. And so I went out there and I was instantly hooked. I was like, this is amazing. And because I was a gymnast in my past life, it was instant. I was really good at it. So I applied right away because I knew that I had a pretty good comeback story too. And that first year, it was right before COVID. And they casting called interested. And they're like, we need more information, all this. And then nothing. And the world shut down.
Right.
So I was pretty devastated. So then the next year, I'm like, all right, they were interested last year. I'll apply this year. Well, the show kept getting smaller and smaller. They're only asking a couple hundred people. It's harder and harder. So 70,000 people apply, I found out.
Oh,
wow.
Whoa.
So it's very hard to get on. So then I was like, okay, I love doing ninja, but I don't get to pick this dream. This is casting. This is Hollywood. What if I never of training for American Ninja Warrior? I chased that dream. So that's how gymnastics started. So I looked that up and I went to a class, instantly hooked. And a girl comes up to me, this sweet 20-year-old girl goes, do you want to be on our team? And I said, wait, I'm sorry, you have an adult gymnastics team. And she's like, yeah, it's small. We're starting it, but do you want to do it? I was like, yes, I want to do it. Nice. So then I started competing in gymnastics. So I did that along with ninja training. And they're very similar training because my favorite event is bars too. So basically what happened was I started competing gymnastics for a few years. And then Fox 31 News was interested in my story and featured me. And I do think that's kind of what helped me get on American Ninja Warrior because once they see that people are interested in your story, you know how that works.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
So that next year I applied for my fourth time, you guys.
Nice.
And that year was different because my friend was not doing well with breast cancer. And she really inspired the dream. I remember when I called her and said, I want to do this. She's like, you're absolutely doing performance.
Oh, friends like that are great. You should do it.
Yes.
And so this was now you're 20 in 2023,
So
2024.
This was 2022.
22. Okay.
So I applied again. Yeah, this is my fourth time applying. And I will say you guys, it's so hard because people laugh, right? Yeah, right. You're going to be on American Ninja Warrior. And I even had somebody say, I can't believe you think they're going to call you. And I remember being like, oh, they're calling me. So, like, I will try out for 10 years. Like, and my video that year was really good. So I was like, please, God. So, but they started making phone calls for a month, no call. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And by the way, too, if you go back to my social media, I told everybody about the entire journey. because I decided that I wanted to be real on social media.
Mhm.
I want to show people that sometimes we chase dreams we never get, and that's okay too. And I wanted to be real about it. But every time I didn't get the call, it was hard to go on social media and be like, thanks guys, I got rejected again.
So hold on. I am so new in this world.
Yeah.
So when you say you got rejected, are you calling them or are they calling you?
No.
And
Okay.
they're saying like, no, we still don't want you.
No, oh my gosh, no. There's
I
no
was
me
like-
calling American Ninja.
Okay.
So no, oh yeah, a lot of people want to know. So you make a video,
Okay.
3 minutes. It tells your story and shows all your athletics.
In 3
And basically-
minutes?
In 3 minutes, and
Okay.
you say why they should pick you.
Okay.
And then you fill out a 10-page application.
What was your 3-minute
Wow.
video? Give us
So it was my story that I've been telling you guys really
Okay.
short, with athletics, showing me flipping and flying all over the place. I showed clips of me being on the news,
okay.
all the articles about me. And I did end with my little boys on that video.
Nice.
And they were holding a sign that said, please call our mom.
Nice.
And it was the cutest thing. And I'm like, I'm going to make them feel bad if they don't come this year.
You're tugging on the emotional heartstrings.
Totally, I did.
I love it.
And yeah, I started off in my car on that video with my boys. Like, I might appear to be a regular mom, but I'm definitely not your average mom. And then it went me flipping and flying across the.
Nice. Okay.
It was a
cool.
good video. I have it if you Google it out there if you want to see it.
Okay.
Because I share everything. Literally, I'm such an open book. If you want to know, I will tell you.
Nice.
So yeah, so that was that. So then you just submit it and it goes into the abyss.
Mhm.
They never tell you aren't on. They never reject you. You just don't get a phone call.
Gotcha.
What
They
is
just ghost
the-
you kind of.
Yes.
Right.
Do they have a process? Like if you don't hear from us in the next 6 months, do they have that video for 10 years? So can they call you? And
No,
like, when
every
you're-
year you send a new video.
Okay. So it is, I actually applied for Survivor.
Oh,
And I had a similar story. I was never on it.
yeah.
But I was the same thing. Like I went through a horrible pregnancy, a lot of health issues, and I've been an athlete, nowhere in the realm that you are. But I'm like, I'm going to be on Survivor.
That's
And it was the
amazing.
same thing of like
Yeah.
a 3-minute thing. And I'm like, where does it go? It just floats into the abyss. So, but you got the
It's
call
kind of
that-
maddening. If I'm not, I
Yeah.
just wanted an email so I can move on with my life because
Right.
anybody who's applied to the show, we're all like in this secret club, I swear to goodness, because you sit with your phone constantly like looking down and it's an 818 number, it's LA.
Okay.
So for a month or sometimes up to 2 months, you're just looking, hoping they call. It's ridiculous. You literally go mad. And then everybody's posting on all these pages, like, I got the call, I got the call, I got the
Oh.
call. And you're just like congratulating them, like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get the call. And then one of my best friends got the call the year before and I was on her sideline and I was so happy for her, but so sad for myself. And anyways, so here we are this 4th year, they've made calls for a month. And I'm like, great, I'm not getting the call. And so you're near the end. Like you can kind of tell because it's a big chunk and then it's dying off. And they didn't make calls for like 4 days. And I'm like, oh, it's over. And I found out it was being filmed at Universal Studios Hollywood in LA. My best friend with terminal cancer lived right there, like 30 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that if there was a year that she got to be there and witness the dream she inspired in me, that was the year. So I remember I prayed, I was like, God, if there is a year. So fast forward 2 days later, my husband texts me, what time are you going to be home from Zumba? And I was like, I don't know. Why do you care? It was Valentine's Day. It was his birthday. So I'm assuming maybe he surprised me with flowers or something. Never thought it was American Ninja Warrior. So they had called him in advance and said, we know your wife's been desperate to get on the show, basically. I'm sure they use those words too. Like, it's her 4th year. So anyways, we know she's going to be excited. We'd love for you to film it.
Okay.
So I come in the door. I'm disgusting. I'm covered in sweat. And he's like, do you
You're
want to
an
clean up for a few
athlete.
minutes? And I was like, clean up for what? And he's like, there's a surprise. And I'm like, what surprise? And he did a great job covering it up. And it was funny because he pulled me into the front room and he's like, wait a minute. Oh, wait, you only have 2 more minutes. I'm like, for what? Someone's coming to the front door. This amazing man did that because my house was a mess that day and he knew it was going to be on national TV. So he pulled me in the front room that was clean.
That's awesome. And you
So
were
the
dressed.
background wasn't like a pile of laundry.
I love it.
Yeah.
I've watched that video and you're an
Yeah.
athlete. You looked exactly the way that you were supposed to when you
Thank
received
you.
that call.
So anyways, so he calls, I'll never forget. He's like, and it wasn't an 818 number. So I looked down at my phone and my heart, because there was a moment I was like, maybe it's them. And then no 818. And I was like, well, this is weird. I'm like, hello. And when he said Trevor from American Ninja Warrior, I mean, my heart sank. I just started crying. And my first thought was my best friend gets to be there.
It's awesome.
And I was just like over the moon excited. And then I went on social media and let everybody know. And the cool thing was it was like they all got the phone call because they had been on the journey for 4 years with this sweet woman who kept getting rejected by American Ninja Warrior. So it was really cool. So I do really encourage people, if you're chasing a dream, even if you never get it, share it.
Right.
Because you have no idea the amount of people you help.
Great.
And how very special it is for your followers when you actually get the call. Cause it's like you all got the call.
Yeah.
So then I got the call and they're like, well, you were a last call. So you have 3 weeks until you need to be here. And I'm like, I'm what? So I'm like, oh my goodness. And I had to come up with shirts and I had like all the paperwork and you had to be COVID tested.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's Hollywood. So I had to be COVID tested at home. Came up with my design. It was faith over fear with a cross and a girl in a handstand. And then I wore hot pink for my best friend and breast cancer. So she was obviously on my sideline in my shirt. And then we all wore ribbons for breast cancer awareness. So that was that. And then we flew into LA. We were kept at the airport, ironically. And the minute you landed, you were COVID tested.
Okay.
And then you were sent to your room. And I mean, they used the most advanced COVID test too. Like if you had it in your body the last 3 months, it was going to show up.
Wow.
So that was a weird feeling of like, I might have gone through all this and then I have COVID. But I was cleared. So I got to go downstairs and get my little badge or get my little sign. And it said when I ran. So I found out I was going to run at midnight. So just so you guys know, it's filmed overnight. It is not live. It is recorded because they want the fancy lights and all that stuff.
Right.
So
that makes sense too.
Yeah. But also
I wanted it live. I'm just saying, if anyone's watching.
Okay, if you experience the show, it could never be live. There's too many things that happen where it's like delayed this happened. Yeah, it's much more complex than y'all think.
I'm sure. I want Survivor to be live too.
Yeah.
And exactly. It'd be hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why like it always is so funny. It's called reality. Cause I'm like, I mean, kind of. So and it had been raining in LA right before we showed up. So we didn't even know like, oh my gosh, is it even going to be, we thought it was going to be delayed. So it rained all up until our night, but yeah. So then the next day you wake up and you do B-roll. So you go in and you do pictures and videos and an interview, which was so much fun. But I was such a rookie, you guys. Like people had set routines for these like B-roll videos. And I thought they were just going to tell me what to do. So it was hilarious. I was like the biggest, like, I don't know. I was like a little kid in there. Cause I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like dance or do whatever. But it was really funny. And people doing push-ups on the side to look like more buff. And it was a really fun. Up the next day and it was really cool. There was a whole group of Christians on the show, so we did like a prayer vigil before that morning, a prayer group circle, which was really cool. And then we all got on the buses that afternoon because it took 2.5 hours in LA traffic to get from LAX to Universal Studios Hollywood.
Right.
So then you get on set and oh my gosh, this was kind of cheesy, but we got on set and then you know how they have like the behind the scenes at Universal Studios, the buses showing like, and I was like, I'm part of the show that they're showing behind the scenes. I was like such a nerdy moment of like, I'm part of Universal Studios Hollywood right now.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And we were right near where like Back to the Future was filmed. I mean, it was pretty cool. So we showed up on set. And they take you to your tent. So this was all a little surprising. The tent is just a tent in a parking lot.
Like a
trailer?
There are
no trailers.
It's
so I was like, well, where do we hang out for all night? And they're like, these folding chairs. These little plastic folding chairs. And I was like, oh. And then there's no heaters. But they did have outside heaters right before you went on, like the little ones you have on patios.
So they let you freeze for a little while, and then right before you go on, they kind of warm you up. Hey, that's thoughtful. That's thoughtful.
Athletes have to endure a lot.
They do.
I mean, they're like, what can you withstand?
So I knew I was the oldest female from Colorado to ever be on the show. And then once I was in that tent, I was like, now I know I'm the oldest. Because for a teen, they're like, this is fun. We're doing a camp out, you know? And I'm like, I am freezing. Like, I need a sleeping bag. So it was funny. And then all the moms are like, which one's your kid? And I'm like, no, I'm actually running the course.
Awesome. I bet moms, that would shut them up. I mean, they'd be like, yeah, you're
they
in
allow
this.
15-year-olds.
Oh, wow.
So they could have been my children.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was wild. But so we're back there. And then they're like, hey, we're going to go walk the course. Okay. So first of all, the first obstacle has been the same obstacle for, I think, 6 years at this point. So we all trained it 150 times. We're ready to go. We go out on, you don't get to touch anything, but you get to walk the course and they show you how to run it. And they have testers show you how to do the obstacles. So we show up and the first obstacle is not what we've all trained for and practiced. It's some new obstacle called pole vault. So you jump off a trampoline onto a pole, try to climb it before it hits the other side and then hop off. And we're like, what? This is not even a ninja obstacle. Like none of us have even... So we're like, well, this will be interesting.
It's a nice curveball right there.
The testers can hardly do it. And the testers were falling on all these obstacles. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting. So we were the first night of filming. And so everything was like brand new. And so it was really interesting. Like I even smelled paint. Like they were still painting some stuff. And I was like, this is wild. Because it had been raining. So they couldn't set it up for like, I don't know, a few hours probably before we showed up.
Okay.
So I definitely panic set in as I was like, I've never seen any of this.
It's outside, it's raining, and I've never done it. Yeah.
And now there's teenagers that are struggling with it. Like, so it was really kind of a funny moment. And one of the testers splashed me. I got like sopping wet, just like watching. It was pretty funny. So then we go back to the tent and you get to start watching people go. So they have little TVs, you're in your tent freezing and you're watching them go. And it's not great. Like a lot of people are falling and having problems with this obstacle. And it's just one of those nights. Like it was the first night of filming. And so you're just like, okay, well, I don't think I'm hitting a buzzer tonight.
Did you find that a lot of the other contestants were like, I don't know, supportive? Were they kind of cutthroat? Were they, what was your relationship? Or were you even able to talk with a lot of them?
I talked to a lot of them. I love that you're asking this because they were all very serious and I'm a goofball.
Very serious.
So I was like it, in all fairness, a lot of them have been on the show a lot and it means a lot to them. And they really like, some have sponsorships and stuff, right? And brand deals. And so how they do on the show affects a lot of their life. Yeah. And so it was very different, like, because I won being there. So like, I knew that everything else was just a bonus. Like I was just so excited that I got on.
Right.
So I definitely had a different feeling. I hung out with 2 TikTokers the whole time. Nice. They were awesome. And we just joked around and had so much fun because they were goofballs too. And so, so I hung out with them, the Wright brothers, if you look them up. They were awesome. So I hung out with them, but I talked to a lot of them, but a lot are teens. And so we don't have a ton in common.
Hence the TikTok.
But,
but no, they were very kind and you're just eating snacks and figuring it out. But, the teens all got to run before midnight because there's rules that labor laws, they can't run after midnight.
Oh.
So I was joking that So I was joking that I wanted a fake ID so I could run before midnight. I was like, oh my gosh, why am I running at midnight? But then the show's delayed.
Okay, I'm going to say something super inappropriate.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
It should be the reverse. So,
yes.
Completely. The older you are, not to say we're all old, but let's just say
we are.
We're all in the same decade.
We're from the 1900s. Okay.
We're from, that's even more impressive. You'd be like, I was doing this at 100 years old. The older people need to go first. So I was doing Taekwondo for a hot minute and they let the teens go first. And I'm like, why? All of us people in the 40s and 60s. Well, yeah, but I don't care. Like the older people are like sitting all day, all night in a freezing tent.
Right.
That's not a good thing to do.
Exactly.
Or just sitting, because we were on a bench inside for Taekwondo, and I'm like, this is not good. We're all creaking as we're trying to get up. So let the old people go first.
And
I'm
they
just
also
throwing
had
that out
call
there.
times for our family. So I was the first call time because they thought I was going by midnight. So my family sat on bleachers in the freezing cold from like 5 or 6, I think. Maybe it was 6 until 3:30 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
And my best
They
friend
love you.
was fighting stage 4 breast cancer.
Right.
That woman though was incredible. Like that, she was like playing games with my kids behind the scenes and keeping them entertained. Like she was incredible, and she didn't care. But I just was like, I feel so bad. So I kept texting them. So here I am. They've delayed it a bunch. I'm ready to go at 1:30, I think. And then they did a union lunch break in the middle of the night. And they're like, can we delay for an hour? And I'm like, are you joking? So I'm not going to eat at this point because I think I'm going right after the break. So the unfortunate thing was during the break, like the dew set in, and now it's 38 degrees. And it's freezing. Like you can see your breath. Everything's like wet. So the first person jumps on that pole after the break, and it just slides straight into the water. And we're all like, oh, so the pole's frozen now. Okay. And so they couldn't wipe the pole and get it dry for us because it was like frozen. It was like wet. Like there's no way to dry it. And it was in the middle of the water.
It's because the wipers were kids, and labor laws, they wouldn't let the kids wipe the pole.
Okay. This is my common sense, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, I'd be like, you all go home and go to sleep. We're going to bring the heaters out and we'll film you tomorrow because we want it to be dry to have you guys have a shot and be successful because we're watching like them all.
But I will tell you, it's more entertaining.
It is more entertaining.
When you have people jumping on wet obstacles, it is more entertaining. So I giggle a lot that I feel like I was on Wipeout. But and all laughing aside, it was devastating because especially like I've lived a lot of life where I knew that me not doing well in the course was not going to affect me psychologically. Right. I was devastated as a mom for a lot of these teens or these younger people because they were crying coming out of the water. Like it was a very difficult night. But I knew right away God put me there for a reason because I was cheering everybody up in the tent. Because I was like, none of us thought we were going to go out on a pole. Like this wasn't like what we pictured. Like, should I have taken pole dancing classes to prepare?
I was so going in that direction.
I never in a million years thought I'd be jumping on a pole trying to climb it, sopping wet, and trying to get to the other side. It was wild to me. And but I also believe everything happens for a reason. So I was just back there, and it was just there. 8 people in front of me fell on the first obstacle. So I was like, cool. So I knew what, and the guy right before me completely missed the pole and just water everywhere. And my friends were laughing from my virtual sideline because they're like, they definitely did not get that pole dried after that happened. But so I had people on my virtual sideline too. So in person, I had my husband, my 2 kids, my best friend and her husband. And then my virtual were my students, some of my students and best friends. And then my other ninja training friend who was on the show as well.
So the virtual people were watching it live too.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
And then they signed a contract. They wouldn't say anything. So they went online. My poor friends. I'm like, I felt so bad because they were up all night. So by the time I went, it was 3:30 Colorado time.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, so I knew in behind the scenes. And by the way, the cast on that show are incredible. Like not the like casting people, the production, so amazing. I fell in love with all of them. We were all joking back there, having a great time. Like it was really fun being back there, but there was no trailer. So I just like warmed my hands on like the little, but I'm freezing. I also have an autoimmune where my hands don't warm up. Have you guys seen it where your hands like turn white and purple?
Yes.
So they were ice cold. And I was like, well, this will be interesting. And you can see my breath. And, he walks me up and, so I knew it was going to be short, but I was like, I've waited 4 years for this. So you saw me come on the stage and I was beaming. I was so excited. I danced for my students. I waved to everybody.
You were a dancer. Yep.
Yeah, I'm a dancer. So then they're like, it was funny because the producers are like, hey, you need to go now. I'm like, oh, shoot, I have to like try to climb this pole. So I remember standing there and I can see just wetness. And I'm like, oh, Lord, I just didn't want to miss the pole. And I didn't want to hit my face on the pole. because it was red. So it blended in with the night. So you were almost like blind jumping and hoping you got this pole. So I'm like, and people were hitting their face and stuff. So I was like, oh Lord. And so I said, Jesus, take the wheel. I was like, this is your story. So I grabbed it. I was so proud of myself because I had it. I'm climbing. So technically I should have been fine because I was on the pole. And then all of a sudden my butt was wet. And I'm like, what happened? Well, somehow the like, it had like bowed and dipped my butt and it had triggered. So it dropped me too soon. So it was over. And I feel so lucky because I got out of the water with the biggest smile. I was the only one to smile. Everybody else was upset. And I was like, thank you for making my dream come true. And they're like, what happened? What happened? Because they interview right away with like 8 Ring cameras. And I was like, my dream came true. And so they're like, okay, thanks. So I go back to the tent and you would have thought I won the show because I'm laughing and happy. And I'm like, I'm an American Ninja Warrior. Like, I just went on the stage. I waited 4 years. My best friend was there. My family was there.
Right.
And I knew immediately I was never meant to hit a buzzer on that show. I was meant to show the world that winning is different for everyone. And I won just as much as the girl that hit the buzzer because I have been through hell and back and shouldn't even be doing what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
And so it was such a different feeling being on the show for me than anybody else. And so I was in the back tent and just cheering everybody up and saying, you're an American Ninja Warrior. Like, do you know how many people, 70,000 people would love to trade places with you right now?
That's a truth. Yeah.
So it was not ever what I pictured.
I know. Well, you can do it again though, right? You can apply.
I technically could.
Okay.
Yes.
I love the hesitation, but but maybe there's a question mark.
I would love to redeem and like, if you guys watch my videos, I'm actually very good at ninja and I was capable of doing that course. So I think that was what was most hard was like, you walk away like, I didn't even get to plan the course. And then I had to keep it a secret.
Yeah.
For 4 months.
Because they don't air it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm getting texts like, can't wait to see you crush the course. And I'm like, you're not going to see me crush the course.
You're like, yay, keep watching.
And I didn't even know if I was going to be aired.
Oh.
So they don't air everybody.
Okay.
So I just was like, well, so it was a very weird feeling coming home. I just didn't want to disappoint people. And I had so many people cheering me on. So right when I came home, I got a call from the news and the newspaper and everybody. And I was so excited, but I had this weird feeling of like, you're covering me, but I hope you know that might not be on the show. I was very honest with everybody in the news. I was like, I might not be on the show. And I'm just being honest. I did not. I can't tell you how I did, but I didn't hit a buzzer,
Okay.
And it was so cute because all of them said, but your story is amazing. Like what you did was amazing.
I agree. So. Okay. For those just tuning in, if you haven't been listening, rewind because this is insane. So we have Angela Fuller and she's all over social media, Fuller. I mean, you have been featured. I wrote all this down.
Yes.
In Voyage Denver, Bold Journey Magazine. You're all over YouTube, of course. Fox 31, CBS News, Great Day Colorado, Shout Out Colorado, just to name a few. And she just told us about her American Ninja Warrior story, which is incredible. And coming from breaking a leg really twice because you bumped the same thing in a row, and then having a very severe back injury with a car accident and totally redeeming yourself. I want to jump to the next piece here if we can, because I find this absolutely amazing. I mean, your whole journey is amazing, but I mean, you've done so much in your life and a lot, in the last couple of years too, which is incredible. To me, it's so inspiring because I think I don't have a similar story to you. I wish I had a similar story to you. I have a similar mentality that you do. Yeah. That it's like you go through sometimes the valleys of I had a kid and I'm going through this struggle and I'm going through depression and I lost myself and I gained weight and I'm like, oh my gosh, what now? And I'm like, get your butt off of the floor and go figure this out. Yeah. And it's like, now you can do anything you want and just go for it.
Yeah.
So now you're back in gymnastics.
Yes. So,
I mean, take it away from there because you just beat a very large world record.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know everybody loves to talk about Ninja Warrior because it is fun. I was on a reality TV show and I feel so blessed I did that. But my heart and soul is gymnastics. Yeah. Because to me, like it's so athletically challenging, even more so even than Ninja Warrior. And it is typically something that we do. People think we're done in our teens. So to do it as an adult is huge. And so, yeah, I was honestly most excited to do adult gymnastics, actually even more than American Ninja Warrior, and share my story about that because so many people have done gymnastics in their life too and inspire them that way. So, yeah, so I went back in gymnastics. I started doing local competitions. The NAIGC is who I compete through. It's the National Association of Intercollegiate Gymnastics Clubs. Someone's like, so you compete against college kids? Yes, I do.
You do? Oh my gosh. So, when did you start in that league? How old were you?
41.
You were 41 when you started?
Yeah.
And you just freaking won what you
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went back at 41 and I went back with unfinished business. I wanted to learn something called giants into a double back flyaway. So you fly around.
Oh my God.
I was working it before I left gymnastics. I dreamt about it for 27 years. So yes, I was out of gymnastics 27 years. And so much so that when I did learn that skill at 41, I did it. And my coach was like, how'd you know how to do that? I was like, I dreamt about it for 27 years. So I and then 5280 Gymnastics is who I compete with. We're one of the largest adult teams in the world.
Okay.
So when I started, we only had 8 of us. Now there's over 40 of us competing.
Nice. And it's all Colorado then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's there. Okay. We have a Littleton gym and a Wheat Ridge gym. Yule is one of the Olympians out of our gym. He's amazing. So that's why people know 5280 because of the Olympian. But anyway, so yeah, so I started doing local competitions and everything kind of, at first I came back just to do women's, but I was never going to do beam again. And then of course that changed because I tell everybody like faith over fear. And I'm like, okay, you cannot say that if you don't do balance beam. So I ended up doing all around. And then my second year, I decided to go to nationals and I did all around women's and nationals. And then I saw girls doing boys events and I was like, what is that? I was like, I can do boys events.
What she's talking about is you like, I love that you say it like, so this is a really big deal for like those of you that are watching. And I want you to know, like, this is insane. You're like, I'm doing the bar and the balance beam and she's going to nationals in itself.
No, it sounds easy to me.
Okay, good. Oh, yeah. I think you should have him join. So, okay. Continue.
So then I saw girls doing men's events and I was like, this is awesome. We could not do this in the 90s. And so I decided to start. Well, actually, my coach was like, Angela, you do American Ninja Warrior. You were strong enough to do men's events. And I was like, I needed kind of an extra push. And by the way, too, the reason I went back to gymnastics, too, is because I saw another mom Olympian go back to gymnastics. And I think as women, sometimes we just need to see another woman do it to be like, oh, she can do it. I can do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, so that's kind of also how that started. But yeah, so I started doing men's events and then I decided to do something called the decathlon. So that's all around women's, all around men's, all in a row. So it's all 10 events in a row.
Okay. Explain the 10 events for those that don't know.
I know. Let's see if I can get it right.
Like me.
Vault, bars, beam, floor for women's. And then you have pommel horse, parallel bars, high bar, vault, floor, men's. What am I missing?
That is so intense.
I'm missing something.
The pommel horse alone. Like I couldn't even get on the blasted. The pommel horse.
Yeah. So I do 30 pull-ups a day.
Okay.
I do weight training. So I train essentially 10 to 15 hours a week between teaching fitness, gymnastics, ninja, and then my own weight training.
Okay.
So I do a lot. Like,
That's
I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
I can't even imagine. Your sister, if she's watching, hi sister.
Yes.
We met her last night and she's
Yeah.
like, you need to bring in a bar and have her be doing pull-ups.
Yeah.
And I was like,
where's my pull-up
I
bar?
know. I am so sorry. But next time, I mean, you can drop down and give us, some squats or push-ups.
I was going to walk in on my hands for you, do some handstands. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, I am working on a world record there too. But anyways, so that happened. I did the decathlon and I was the oldest female to ever do that year. So I technically, I guess, made history that year. So that was really fun. And that was right after my best friend passed away. So I will say this, like getting on American Ninja Warrior, proving to myself I could do that, going back and doing women's, it's all snowballed. And then it's like when my best friend passed away at 44, I was like, I'm doing all of it. I don't want any regrets.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to inspire and help other women and show them anything's possible. And the best way to do that is do the impossible. So that's what I did. So, and when people tell me like, no one's ever done this, I'm like, where do I sign up for that?
You see why I like,
So then that happened. And then I saw people were doing the Omnathon that year. And the lady, actually the woman, her dad invented the trampoline, was at Nationals.
Oh.
Which is kind of random. But her name
Seriously?
is Diane.
Cool.
Yeah.
I thought the trampoline was a little older than that, but.
Well,
Wow.
she is older.
Well,
she was in her 60s.
I thought the dad was alive.
No,
Like, okay.
so the dad's like, yeah. So she was like, Angela, you should do trampoline. And I was like, I never did trampoline as a kid. Like that wasn't a thing really. Like, and I don't know. So it was kind of a bug in my ear. And then I was like, I think I want to do the whole thing. So I had to add on trampoline and power tumbling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 14 events. So then this last year I was like, I'm doing all 14. So, so then it was kind of interesting. So I go there and the 10 was really hard on my body last year. And I was like, okay, I see why I'm the oldest to do this female. So then this year I'm like, I'm just going to see how my body does. And it did pretty good. I did trampoline and tumbling the night before. In the morning, I did all the men's events. It was awesome. And my body shut down. And I was like, no, we need to keep going. So I was like taking gummy bear, like real, not special gummy bears, real gummy bears with sugar. Harbor. Guys, I was not.
It is Colorado.
That's why I just.
You can take whatever you need to take. I'm like rereading what you're saying. Like there is zero judgment. I can't. I can barely get out of my bed most mornings. Like
gummy bear doping. There's no judgment.
Yeah, there was
which is not what you're doing.
It was really a mental thing. So a lot of people ask how. Like my brain had to overtake my body and be like, "No, we're doing this."
Gonna do it.
So I was like, "We need 4 more events." So the first 2 women's were good. The last 2, it was not the prettiest ending of a like history making moment. So my last event was uneven bars. I cannot see the bars, you guys. I was so delusional. I was looking at the bars and they're like floating. They're doing this and I'm seeing stars and I'm like, oh, this isn't good.
Gummy bears can do that.
Yeah, that's true too, right? Okay, now you're not going to believe me. So I was like, this is not good. And then I knew I could have done like a dummy down routine and it would have counted, but that is not who I am.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. So of course I fell. And then I scraped my leg up and I'm like, shoot. But I got back on the bar. I finished. But when I went to do my flyaway, no idea where I was in the air at all. So I landed to I'm like, okay, I'm on the ground. And the judge is kind of looking at me and I'm like, that was my 14th event. And she's like, no way. So I just started crying and my coach was so incredible. And he came over and hugged me and he's like, you did it. So my coach is in his 40s too. Mm-hmm. And he is incredible. And he is the reason I did all this. His name's Mike. Huge shout out to him. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So I knew it was a pretty big moment. And then I had people coming up to me being like, you made history. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, no one your age has ever done this. And I was like, I'm sure there was, but there wasn't. So we went through kind of all the names and everybody that's done it. And yeah, I was definitely the oldest. So that was really cool. And then this is even the cooler part. The next day I had this gymnast on my wall as like a little girl and she was there. She was there to watch the meet. And so like my poster girl
was there.
Dominique Mosciano.
Okay. Nice.
Do I say her name? I always say her last name wrong. I think
Sure.
it's Mosciano.
It sounds great.
Yeah, it's right.
You're an Olympian.
Anyway,
you can
so
do and
I
say
was
what
like,
you want.
So, and then I meet her and she's my age. And she's like, wait, you're doing what at this age? And I'm like, wait, an Olympian thinks I'm cool. Like, so it's like pretty cool full circle moment. But she was amazing and she congratulated me. So it was like a very cool moment in my life. But yeah, so she's like, I don't know how you're doing this after 2 children. And like, so yeah, that was a really cool moment. And then I forgot to say too, last year I did Masters World Cup, which was another huge dream because I always wanted to wear a Team USA leotard as a little girl, right? I want to be an Olympian. I wanted to be in the Olympics. I was never good enough. Like, I look back at my videos, I'm like, yeah, there was no Olympics going on there. A special moment, and it also just like, no matter whatever your dream is, like I remember just thinking of the 13-year-old 14-year-old Angela would be like, wait, what, you get to wear a Team USA leotard? So I tell everybody, even if you want to do that, come do the Masters World Cup. So there were teams from all over the world. There was like women in their 70s doing round up by handsprings from like China. It was the coolest thing I've ever been a part of. So yeah, so that happened last year, and that was like absolutely incredible. And that I also did. I was the only woman my age to do men's events at that competition.
I don't even need to like ask. She's just going to keep remembering her entire story.
I forgot I did that.
That's like a side
what
note.
What else did I do? I was laughing when I sent you the timeline. So I'm like, wow, I've been up to a lot the last few years.
My side note is like, oh, I ate an extra cheeseburger today. It's not like, oh, by the way, I was, an Olympian this year as well.
So yeah, it's been really cool. But I'm going to say like the absolute coolest part about all of it is that I love chasing my dreams, but inspiring other people to do it and like having them write me and say, I saw your video, now I'm doing this, or because of this, I can't even tell you. I'm like in tears, I swear, every other day, because I just know that like by me doing what I love, I get to show the world that we can all do it. Right. So if I can do it, you can do it, as I always tell everybody. So yeah, that was pretty amazing. And also I'm all about purpose over podium. I feel like too many times we focus on the people that win versus people that sometimes just showing up at the meet, they won. And the other funny story about that was at nationals this year, I don't look at any of my scores ever. So they flash the score. I don't look because it ruins it for me. Because I'm like, I feel like I did great. And then they flash the score and I'm like, what? So I don't look at it. So I went to the award ceremony having no idea that I actually placed at nationals. So I actually got second all around in men's events. And then I got second parallel bars, third vault, and then fifth synchronized trampoline. And I met my partner the night before nationals. Wow. So it was like this wild experience. And everyone's like, sure, you didn't look at your scores. And I'm like, I don't, because so like, that's even cooler when you literally have no idea you're getting an award. And then they say your name and you're like, oh, well, that's fun.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, so I don't need medals. They don't really do a lot for me. But it does validate and show you that, guys, that I am decent at what I do.
There's nothing I can say anymore.
No,
oh my gosh. Like, I really want to ask this question, but it feels really redundant.
I love when she's like, you guys can do this too. I'm like, no, I can't.
Oh, no. Okay,
but
that burger's sounding really good right
Exactly.
I know. And like, that's what everybody, like, they'll laugh and they'll always be like, you used to be a gymnast. I'm like, no, I am.
You are a gymnast.
Right.
But I literally, like, I just hope there's one person listening right now, at least one, and just know that, like, nothing you have gone through in your life, you cannot overcome. You can overcome anything. And if you have a childhood dream, you can do that now. Like, nobody said you expire. And so I'm doing gymnastics. I know it's extreme. But there's a master's league for almost every single sport out there.
Yep.
So I just tell people, especially moms and dads,
Mhm.
get off the sidelines, stop yelling at the kids at the football game and living through your children. Like, if you really want to play football or go do it
Go
yourself.
do it. I totally agree. Get it off I said it to a woman last night at an event. She goes, well, I really want to travel. And whatever it is, to your point, like,
Yeah.
if you want to be a gymnast, amazing. That's not in my cards, but it still is like, pursue your dream and go do it. Get out of the frying pan into the fire. What is holding you back? And I told this woman last night, she's like, I have wanted to travel my entire life and go to Europe or Southeast Asia, but I haven't done it for all of these years. I'm like, you're an empty nester. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Everything that's on your bucket list, do it.
Do it.
Because we are so prone to saying, I will win when I have more money, or the kids get older, or I move, or something changes. Do it now.
Yeah.
Because you have no idea what is going to change in your life. And I am so blown away by your journey.
Yeah.
It's so incredible. And I love the resilience. Like, I think really what defines people is when they're in, sometimes I call it the valley.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was for me. It's like, you can sit there or you can do something about it and get off your butt and go do something about it. Pursue your dreams. I love it. I wrote it down what you said. Go do the impossible.
Yeah.
Because nothing is impossible. You are so freaking inspiring. Like, I can't even get over it that it's like, I haven't done gymnastics for 27 years and now I'm going to go do 14 events and kick everyone's butt and make history doing it. Like, that is so empowering.
Yeah.
And I love it people are going to be reaching out to you to say, you are my inspiration.
And I feel like, when you're out there chasing your dreams with your kid too. So if you go on my social media, I had a really cool moment this year. My son's a competitive skier. So I was at his meet all morning in the mountains. I drove down the mountains. I did my meet. And then I got back in the car, drove back, and then he had a meet. And we both were on a podium the same day.
Oh, cool.
And I used that as a visual just because it was we can do it together. It doesn't mean I have to give up my dreams for my children, but I can do it I still was there to cheer him on, but I matter too.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a really cool moment of and he was so proud of me. It was just not many women or people can say they're on a podium the same day as their kid.
Yeah.
And so and also having your boys cheer you on, them cheering me on, especially on Ninja Warrior, there's something really extra special about that because we're always there for them, rightfully so. But for us to kind of flip that and have them cheer us on, it also gives them permission as fathers someday that they get to chase their dreams too once they have children and that they still matter. So there's, we can tell our kids all the things, but it's better to show them.
I totally agree. You be the example. You can do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We can start businesses and be athletes and be Olympians and travel the world and go do whatever we are because they are watching us completely. Yeah. And if you are their role model, which parents, this is like a nod to parents and even those that aren't, be the role model of someone in your family or someone that you work with or a best friend. I mean, what you got to do. And I love that she was there watching you, hanging out with your kids, making it an amazing. I mean, that moment is, I felt like I was there. I started to get kind of cold when you were talking. I'm like, okay, it's in the 30s and I see my breath and my best friend is there and she's cheering me on. And that's what it's all about. Is inspiring.
And when it aired, I remember being like, oh goodness, how's the world's going to respond? They all want me to hit a buzzer. And everyone, I will never forget, kind of they did a great job with it. And they literally, I remember Matt Eisman's like, she's the most excited person to be here, something like that, the happiest person, something like that. And I'm like, it truly was. And I remember getting all these texts from people like, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, you still are?
Yeah.
Because there is that moment of I can't explain it. That's just our world. We celebrate
For sure.
the buzzer
the
and
victories. Yeah.
it was, and I
It's-
remember I had a little kid come up to me at the gym the next day after I taught, and he said, "My mom showed me your run. Thank you for showing the world that we win just showing up sometimes."
Completely.
And I was like, cried because I'm like, you know, and so I feel like every part of my journey has been exactly how it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
to show different aspects. And so, yeah, it's been a wild ride. And so that's why now I do more like inspirational speaking, and I'll be doing more coming up. Just because I want to get in front of people and show them that anything's possible, especially moms.
Oh, I agree.
So, yeah.
I'm on a women kick all the time, and I work with a bunch of dudes. I love the guys in my world. I have a 6-year-old son.
Yeah,
and
he graduated.
He graduated this morning.
Kindergarten.
It's a morning. I posted that social media picture, and I just look like what I look like, which is fine, right?
Yeah.
So I love that you said it really is. It's about the destination. Or is it about the destination, or is it about the journey?
Always the journey.
It's about the journey, because I had this goal 20 years ago to climb Everest.
Oh my gosh.
I never did, but
Okay.
I didn't, because
I don't even want to do that one, Sarah.
I did. I really, and I still like plagues the back of my mind a little bit. I climbed Kalapatar, which is right next to it, 18,600 feet.
Oh my gosh.
And I got to look up at, oh my gosh. Yeah.
It is amazing.
And someone said, is it about the destination or the journey? And for Everest, I'm like, it's not about the journey, because I would have been so miserable every second of the entire trip. And I'm like, why would I want to do that? That is totally defeatist. So I'm like, I'm going to go climb another mountain and really enjoy it. So I love that. You're so inspiring. I know we're close to time, but I could talk to you forever.
I know. I'm like, it's already been an hour.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah. You're amazing.
Oh my gosh, I could be here all day.
You're so inspiring. Okay, one more question. I know that you are a public speaker.
Yes.
Can people hire you? Okay.
So I'm starting to do a lot more this year, probably starting in September, because I'm home with my boys this summer, obviously. But yeah, absolutely. I want to speak to, moms groups, any groups, just sharing my story and inspiring them. And my whole point is talking about that we're made for more and rediscovering the dreamer inside you. So basically, just showing everybody that, your dreams never expire, and showing you kind of the path of how I did it, and helping people discover their dreams now later on in life too.
I love it. Okay. Well, I'm going to keep you busy.
Yes.
Because I have a few groups that I want you to come talk to.
Awesome.
I mean,
I would love that.
Amazing. And
or you can come shake it with me at the rec centers in Highlands Ranch.
I would love to. I
shake it.
Loved and I love and miss my Zumba instructor that I had up north, and she helped motivate me get out of my funk. Yeah. Because that was my first class when I was just out of my depression of 2 years post-baby, 3 years post-baby. And I'm like, and I walked in, and I'm like, damn, you're a mom and you're really fit and you love it. And like you, I'm like, I want to get out there and I can shake.
So much fun. And I do a lot of like pop songs, and it's definitely, it's high intense. It's so much fun. I taught this morning. So if you want to come, I will motivate you through that, or motivational speaking. And I know everyone says, what's next? I have no idea, because I am enjoying the journey. Yeah, that's the other thing is I just am really kind of soaking in what I just accomplished. Which
was like this year, like this calendar year.
It was
a month ago. Yeah, what's next? I mean,
it's like that though, and I'm like,
you're like, can I rest for more than 30 days?
So I still train both, and we'll just see where God leads me, because I truly like all of this. If you had asked me 5 years ago, I wouldn't have ever guessed that this is what I'd be doing.
It's so cool. That's the joy of the journey.
Yeah.
I can say the same for me. I'd never imagined I'd be owning a radio station.
I know, this is amazing.
Years. So, I mean, it's really cool when you get that.
Yeah.
That text is what Josh and I have, and the type of friendship we have is it's that moment of you need to go for your dream. Like, it is time, and you lift people up and help inspire them, because nothing is impossible, especially if you have your cheering section.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you guys did make another dream come true for me today. So I listened to the radio, because remember, I'm from the 1900s, where it was like a huge deal. In the 1900s, guys, the radio was where it was at. Right?
Of course,
it was. Little cassette. Yeah. Not that it's not still amazing, but I remember listening to the radio and being like, I'm going to be on the radio someday. So thank you. It took 44 years, and now I'm on the
It was all our pleasure. I mean,
It was
wow.
awesome. I did.
So check, another dream.
You truly, there's something about
So,
you
yeah.
when you walked by me. I literally grabbed her and
Yeah.
I'm like, where are you going? Because I have to know her. So this has been so amazing to have you on.
Thank you.
Please come back
Yes.
with whatever I want you to.
Now I got to do something really cool again. So you want?
I kind of want you just to go drink some electrolytes. Like, can you?
I do drink a lot of electric.
Can you-
Yeah, you don't want to know what my eating routine is. It's pretty intense.
I would imagine so.
Lots of supplements, lots
I
of clean eating. But if I can
it's
do it, you can do it.
That is so true. Okay, I think you should take us out because I'm
All
so
right.
like jazzed. Oh my gosh, makes me want to go like accomplish. I should be a gymnast. Like,
Yeah.
at least start with Zumba.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with Zumba.
Come dance with
Start
me.
with Zumba?
and then-
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Zumba away. I like it.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for coming in. It's
Thank
such
you
a
for
pleasure.
having me.
Of course, of course.
This is so much fun.
And definitely stay in touch.
Yes.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you just kind of caught the end of this, it is going to be on our social media platforms for a month. However, YouTube, it's always there. So do you know that? Thank you very much, Amanda, for coming on there. Sorry, Angela.
It's okay. People always think of Amanda.
It's
so
been
that
a
was
long
close.
day.
No, it's all good.
Angela, thank you very much. And to all of our listeners out there, definitely stay tuned every single day from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. We have one solid hour of Colorado musicians that are in our rotation, just one melting pot of all different genres. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is Josh and Sarah and Angela
Yes. Thank you.
signing out. Have a wonderful evening.